Alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayh. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam tabaraka wa sallama tasliman kasiran kasira amma ba'd. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa man ahsanu qawlan mimman da'a ila Allah wa amila salihan wa qala innani minal muslimin. Bahasa Inggeris. My dear brothers and respected elders and sisters, we are one family of mankind. So we are not one family in Malaysia, one family in America. No. We are one family in the entire mankind, in the entire world. You know? One family of Malaysian. That's not true. Yeah? Then what about other people in the other part of the world? Are they not our family? So we must not talk about the family only in our country, but a family in the whole world. We must think as one family in the whole world. Yeah? And because we have been made by Allah to be such, so that we will become a family of the entire mankind in the whole world. We have not been able to achieve that since we are created. We have all the while we have tried to be one party, one tribes, one groups of people. There are so many tribes in one country, in the whole world, and every day keep on inventing or creating new tribes, new groups, new party. From only 2 parties when Malaysia achieved its independence, now become 10 parties, maybe 20 parties. Within the Malay, there are many 5-6 parties. Within the Chinese, the Indians, that's political parties. What about the tribes? There's so many tribes. India, there are 1.6 billion, but so many, one race, so many tribes within the race, so many. So in this way, even this Sri Lanka, they got Sinhalese and Taman, but within the Taman there are so many tribes of Tamils. One is Jaffna tribes. That's according to the locations. Tribes invented and created as in terms of different languages. So we have not been able to achieve this, very reason as to why Allah have created us, to become one family of the entire mankind. We have never achieved. We're becoming worse day by day. Day by day, from becoming one family, we're becoming innumerable numbers of families of various race, tribes, and so on and so forth, and groups, parties. Why we becoming as such? Because we have different belief. and different mindset. Each tribe, each groups, each party have different aims. They have different belief, different mindset. So naturally they act differently and they become different groups. Not to talk about different languages, different dialect. Allah has made us to have many different languages, not for us to be disunited or made us to become different race, not to become disunited, but to be able to know each other. But Allah have created us so that we'll become one family of mankind, the whole world. We have never been able to achieve, because we have never tried the correct way. First of all, we never understand that people act according to their belief and their mindset. We never understand this. We never think about it, and we never know. People act according to what they know, they believe, and what they think, not what they know. So there are many different beliefs, many different thinking. So definitely there are so many different groups, and there are so many different culture. So some people say we should cherish these differences. Cherish. How to cherish? We can, having different languages, but different race, but we should not, be disunited, or what it means by that. We should not have hatred, enmity between each other. But we do. Because we think that we should work in order to uphold our own race, our own tribe to be supreme. So when the Germans started to believe that they are the supreme race, then they start to conquer others. When the Jews think that we are the supreme race, they start to humiliate and do injustices to others. Every race or every tribe, every group that want to excel above others, they naturally have to engage on fighting other races and other groups, making others to become inferior to them, and they are the one who are superior. The British, once they say the colony of the British will never set, so they keep on expanding. Now it sets, but it doesn't last. But these are the consequences of having the belief that we are superior, we are better, we are nobler than others. So one simple statement of the Prophet ﷺ, no one is superior than the others except in taqwa. This has never been understood and meant to be penetrated into our belief. Never. Not even to the so-called Muslims. The whole world since that time. No? The Muslims and the whole world have never believed that also. None is superior, none is holier or nobler than others except in taqwa. They don't believe it. That's a statement of the Prophet, in his last Hajj, where nearly all the Muslims at that time have collected in Arafah, so that they will propagate this belief that none is superior than the other or nobler except in taqwa. You can look at what happened in the Arab world, in Saudi Arabia itself, in the country where Prophet ﷺ has started preaching his religion of Islam. What happened there? Is that being practiced or not? None is nobler and superior or higher than others except in taqwa. No. No one works on taqwa. No one. Not even the so-called Muslims. Since the time of Prophet ﷺ, they don't work. After the demise of Prophet ﷺ, never work on taqwa. Why? Because their importance is not on taqwa. Their importance is on material things of this world. To collect material wealth, to expand their territories, to have more weapons, to colonize others. That's their main priorities. Indonesia, got so many islands, so big a country, but they still want to have more islands. Pulau Sipadan, and a small island near Sabah. The Indonesian wanted to, Malaysia wanted to, so they went to the International Court of Justice, which finally decided Sipadan belonged to Malaysia. They were engrossed. They were furious, and they said, we will never let Malaysia to take any more islands of ours. The Singapore take Batu Putih, small island, small one. Singapore want it, Malaysia want it, so they go to the International Court of Justice. So they decide in favor of Singapore. Now it belongs to Singapore. I don't know whether Malaysia is furious or not. But now there's many islands, Natuna Islands, that in between Malaysia and West Malaysia and Sabah and Sarawak, in the middle. Indonesia was very much, scared that Malaysia will claim these Natuna Islands. They will make sure. But these Natuna Islands has been claimed by Chinese too. They said this is belong to us. They said in the South China Sea. There are many islands in the South China Sea claimed by China, claimed by Philippines, claimed by Vietnam, claimed by Malaysia, claimed by Indonesia. Sputly islands. So now there's a crisis in the South China Sea. The China Sea, this belongs to us. No. This is a free highway. Americans say, no. So, no, the Chinese said, no, we're going to take Taiwan. We're going to take that Spratly Island. We start to send vessels and submarines. So, America said, we will start to send too. This is now a tension. So, how people, are so engrossed in spreading their control, their power, their colony. And this has happened throughout the ages. Has never stopped ever since men are created. They never been satisfied, contented on whatever material things they are able to achieve. They will tend to have more and more and more. China is so big. Why they want that small island? Why don't they let it? No. It belongs to us. China is so big. Even they tend to take Tibet, they want to take Mongolia, The present Uyghur, it was the land of the Uyghur being taken by China. So the Uyghur never stopped from trying to get it back. So China tried to prevent them from doing so, so they start to make this Uyghur to become like Chinese, speak Chinese, religion Chinese, so that they will not do any rebellious acts to get independence. And these are the problems of the world. Then the problems of the Muslims in South Thailand, Muslims in South Philippines, who think that we are Malay. The one in Thailand, the one in South Philippines say we are what do you call it? A different tribe. Our religion is Islam. We want independence. Everyone is thinking only about their material wealth, nothing about taqwa. That's why the whole entire mankind in chaos. the Israel. They're smaller. They want to make it big. They will take others also. So then the Palestinians, we don't have lands. We have been pushed by the Jews until we have very small lands. So they keep on fighting. The whole fighting and war that going on in this whole world since time immemorial is only because of the pursuits of trying to become inferior than to become superior than others. If you want to become superior than others, then you have to make others inferior. If you want to become stronger, then you make others weaker. That's why you become stronger. But that would not work, because once you want to become stronger, make others weaker, the one whom you make weaker want to become stronger. They do not want to become weaker. So Napoleon Bonaparte, conquer lands after land, then destroyed, come back to France. Germans expand one country to the other, then back to German. It never works. Because once you want to become superior than others, you have to make others inferior. In order to become honored, you have to humiliate others. And others would not like to be humiliated, to be done injustices to them. So war will persist and continually war will continually take place. And when the time the men will have peace and tranquility, there will never be a time unless people practice this command of Allah, the command of His Prophet, that none is superior than the others except in taqwa. But nobody work on taqwa. Everyone is working on material things. The very reason why we have been antagonizing each other, quarreling and having war, is because we are busy trying to become richer than the others, stronger in power than the others. This is the wrong aims. The wrong aim of each and every one of us in the entire globe. No work has been made to materialize the fact that none is superior except in taqwa. So let's start. Let's start the effort. I'm not only trying to talk, but to work. Many people are talking. Oh, we should be united, we should form the United Nations. The reason as to why United Nations was formed was so that the world will become a peaceful place. No Hitler will ever come up again. No person like Mussolini, Hitler, Napoleon Bonaparte will ever come to rise again. That's right. So to a certain extent, to a certain extent we are able to prevent such men from rising, but still there are wars. There is fighting, hatred between nations. So the formation of the United Nations, are not so successful. And the United Nations are controlled by, countries which have veto power, not by the whole world. So if anything not to this agreement of one country which has veto power, then they veto the order, then it cannot take place. The decision, they will veto it. So it is ruled by either of the country who belong to the veto power. We belong to the country who has veto power, such as America, Russia, China, France, Germany. That's all veto power. Even if one country do not like it, it will not work. That's why the problem in Israel and Palestine never being solved. Because once the decision is not to the side of the Israel, America will veto it. So how it will work? So if they don't have that system, then if the superpower will entangle with each other, will turn into war, then the whole world will not be at peace also. Everyone wants to become superior. In order to become superior, we must make others inferior. But no one wants to become inferior. Everyone likes to be dealt with justice, fairness. Then only the world will be at peace. So we have to work on taqwa, not mingling ourselves, pursuing on material wealth, but to pursue on iman, to pursue on the effort of trying to acquire iman through faith in Allah and good actions. Until we are pursuing on this path, of trying to gain taqwa, we will never have a world of peace and tranquility, and we will never have peace and tranquility in this world or in the hereafter. Neither in this world nor in the hereafter, because we don't have taqwa. Taqwa means we fear Allah or we love Allah to the extent that we fear to disobey His orders. So taqwa comes from a strong faith in Allah, strong iman. And iman and strong faith in Allah will only come with the work of prophets, the works of inviting others to Allah. And that's why all the prophets of Allah are the people of taqwa, and they are the dwellers of paradise. But other than the prophets of Allah, hardly any will become people of taqwa unless they also do the work of the prophets of Allah. So the means to become people of taqwa is to do the work of the prophet of Allah in simple terms. What are the work of the prophets of Allah? They must invite others to Allah and to good deeds. They must pray, and in doing the work of inviting others to Allah, they must spend their wealth, their own time. These are their work. We do not want to spend our wealth and time. First of all, we do not want to do the work of the Prophet, to invite people to Allah, or to invite people to good, forbidding people. The first thing is, we do not want. Neither the Muslim nor the non-Muslim, definitely. The Muslim, the so-called Muslim, whole world since the time after the demise of Rasulullah, are not willing. So neither the non-Muslim, naturally the non-Muslim will not do. Never will they do. Because as the so-called Muslim, they too are engrossed in the pursuits of material wealth and power. That's why all the crimes, the one who killed the most people in the whole world is the non-Muslim. Few Muslims who come out with the belief that they can kill others, they are called terrorists. But the real terrorists are the non-Muslims. The real terrorists. There's none of the non-Muslims who are not terrorists. They are all terrorists because they don't believe in Allah. They don't believe in the hereafter. The terrorists among the Muslims are the ones who have very weak iman, very weak faith, or having no faith at all, as the non-Muslim. Terrorist doesn't come from the believer, the believer with the true faith in Allah and with good deeds. Will never come out from them. The true believer with good deeds. It come out from the so-called Muslim who have no iman, only names, who have wrong belief and who have wrong understanding that to kill others are permitted in Islam. Allah do not order us to kill even one person without justice. We cannot kill even one person. If we kill one person, it's the same as killing the whole entire mankind. Why these terrorists are called Muslim? They are not Muslim. They don't understand Quran. They don't have faith in Allah. They just say, I am Muslim. That doesn't make them Muslim. These are terrorists. But the real terrorists are then like Hitler are terrorists. So terrorists. Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, the one that we know of recent time. But even in the past, the terrorists are the non-believers. Why they become terrorists? Because they want this world. The believer doesn't want this world, they want Allah. How could they become terrorists? The one who become terrorists, who want this world, who love this world, who thinks the world is the only place to live, and then after that we never be living again, we will sleep, and that's it, become dust. These people become terrorists, who love the material things. The true believers with the good deed don't love the material. They love Allah more. The lover of Allah only love Allah, nothing else. See? One who love Allah is the people of taqwa. The one who don't love Allah, love the material things, are the terrorists. They are the dwellers of hellfire. They are the tyrants. So people are worried. They are terrorists. They should remember that all this while the terrorists are not the Muslim, the non-Muslim. They forgot that they themselves are terrorists. They keep on telling Muslim terrorists, so that people forget about the real terrorists. It's the Americans. Americans say we fight against the terrorists, then they kill so many people as a result of their intervention to that particular area which they call invested with terrorism. So they created Taliban, terrorists, the American. They created Mujahideen. The terrorists of the world is created by America, the real terrorists. American, Russian, Chinese are real terrorists. They don't have deen. They only think of power. Who are now fighting to gain more power? It's all basically the non-Muslim country. The Muslim country there is, but not many. Only few people trying to attack American embassy, bomb this embassy. They call it terrorists. But the real terrorist is them. You will become terrorists when you don't have taqwa. People of taqwa will never become terrorists, become the lover of Allah. So the non-Muslim are the real terrorists, and the Muslim which have no iman, who appear outwardly Muslim but actually they are non-Muslim. In order to make the reason as to why they are allowed to kill people, they say they are the enemies of Islam. America are enemies of Islam. They are not we cannot kill the people who are our enemies. We have to kill the enemies of Allah, the enemies of Rasulullah, and our enemies. The one that we are allowed to kill are the people who are the enemies of Allah, the enemies of Rasul, and our enemy. And who are these people? These people who attack us only because we want to invite them to Allah. Then they are the enemies of Allah, the enemies of the Prophet, enemies of the Muslim. These people we are allowed to kill. But we cannot kill any other than these people. We are not allowed. Or we can kill those who have been destined or decided to be killed by the court, Muslim court, jurisprudence, the true court. Other than that, we cannot kill. To kill one person equal to kill the whole entire mankind. This is in the Quran. So who are the people whom Allah has allowed us to kill? Is the enemies of Allah, enemies of the Prophet, and our enemies. And these people are the people who trying to kill those who are inviting them to the kalima. So we are not doing that work. How can America is our enemy? We are not inviting the America to recite the great kalima. We only bomb their embassy. How could we call them our enemies? They are not our enemies. Until we preach them, we invite them to Allah, we ask them cordially, with love and affection, kindness, to recite the great kalima and to do the work of inviting people to Allah but they refuse. They start to engage war against us. Then we need to also be at war with them. We do not like war. But if they started like the Quraysh of Mecca, the Prophet ﷺ never want to fight with them. The evidence that shows that he doesn't want to fight with the Quraysh of Mecca, because he left Mecca. He's been there for 13 years. Then he migrated to Medina. Why? Because he wants to avoid antagonizing the Quraysh of Mecca. They say, okay, if you don't want, I leave. I've tried 13 years to invite you, but you still do not want. You want to kill me, then I better run. I've been ordered by Allah to migrate. Even when Rasulullah has migrated to Medina, still they, embark on wars against the Muslims in Badr, in Uhud, in so many wars. So naturally, Allah ordered Prophet ﷺ and the believers to fight against them, because they are the enemies of Allah, the enemies of the Messenger, enemies of the believers. The present America are not our enemies. It's not the enemies of Allah. So it's neither the enemies of Prophet ﷺ nor our enemies, because we have not fight. They are not fighting us because we have invited them to Allah. No, we never do that job. And they don't fight us because of that. So how can they become our enemies? And to kill an American is a sin. We are not the enemy of Allah and the enemy of Rasul. The Muslim never understand this. Oh, they are non-Muslim, our enemies. Non-Muslim, our enemy. No, who says that? Allah did not tell. Why Aisha can become the wife of Pharaoh, can live in the palace with Pharaoh? Why Maryam, a very saintly person, can live among his people who are mostly non-Muslim? So Allah doesn't say that you are not allowed to have relationship, having love, kindness towards the non-Muslim. We are told to be kind to all, including the non-Muslim. How we should do kindness to them, to please Allah, and then to do justice to them, to invite them to Allah. We must think that they are part of our family, who has deviated from the correct path. They are part of our family who have deviated from the correct path, and therefore it is our responsibility to bring them to the correct path. In order to invite them to the correct path, we should not entangle with hatred and all these crimes. We have to love them, do kindness to them, and then to invite them to Allah, to invite them to obey the orders of Allah. If they do not like that, and they fight you, and they want to kill you, and then they become the enemies of Allah, the enemies of Nabi, and your enemies, then you are allowed to protect yourself and to fight them and to kill them. Not necessarily want to kill. So the Taliban in Afghanistan probably have a wrong belief. They don't understand the true Islam. Islam is a religion of peace, religion of love. You must love the whole entire mankind. Unless you love them also, but you have to kill them when they become the enemies of Allah and the enemies of Rasul and our enemies. When they become the enemies of Allah, when they want to kill the men of Allah, when they want to kill, the people of Allah. Who are the people of Allah? Who call people to Allah, Like Sufyan, he doesn't do the work of inviting people to Allah. He never invite the non-Muslim. He only eat with them. When they eat with them and they only like them, but they never invite them to Allah, then they become like this non-Muslim also. The so-called Muslim who love the non-Muslim like only because they want to be with them, to have their worldly things, and they have become part of them. We love them, do kindness to them, because we want to invite them to better things. The non-Muslim are not having kalima, they are not obeying the orders of Allah, then naturally they are the dwellers of hellfire. We should love them and be kind to them and try to save them if you can by inviting them. This should be our work when we trying to obtain taqwa. Then if that is to be our work, we do this work, the work of prophets. We pray for men in Jamaat, in the mosque, women in the house, and we spend our wealth and time and our life for the work of inviting the non-Muslim, the whole world to Allah. Then finally we will become the people of taqwa. Now we cannot become the people of taqwa, but because we don't do the work of inviting people, we don't do the work proper. We do not want, therefore, to spend our wealth and time and health for the work and never pray, or we only pray. Then we cannot become the people of taqwa. So in Surah Baqarah, Allah says, Alif Lam Mim, Zalikal Kitabul La Raiba Fihi Hudal Lil Muttaqin. Alif Lam Mim, no one understands this. Zalikal Kitabul La. I do not send this kitab, this Quran, except a guidance for people of taqwa. And Allah mentioned the people of taqwa. One, the quality of the people of taqwa is a people who believe in Allah. Zalikal Kitabul La Raiba Fihi Hudal Lil Muttaqin alladzina yu'minu. They are the people who believe in the unseen, believe in Allah and all those which Allah have told to be unseen. This is the main criteria to become taqwa. In order to attain that iman in ghaib or taqwa, we have to do the work. To work of inviting people to Allah, or the work of inviting people to good, forbidding prayer, and to perform prayer. And in doing the work of inviting people to Allah, we have to spend our wealth and time out of the sustenance that Allah has given to us. Then we become the people of taqwa. When the whole entire world are working on taqwa, who believe that none is better than the others except in taqwa, then the world will be at peace. The world will be at peace, and the whole world will be full of barakah. You will find, plants able to give fruits which are abundant, delicious, and bigger in size all over the world, and give rise to beautiful flowers. The world, because why? Because the people have become taqwa. People of taqwa will never fight and kill each other. They will always love and invite others to Allah, and they spend their wealth and time to do that job, and they perform prayer to ask Allah for guidance for themselves and others. These are the people of taqwa. These are the work of the people of taqwa. But we are not doing the work. How to become taqwa? Only praying only. Some Muslims now only praying. They don't do the work of Nabi. They don't do the work of inviting people to Allah. Neither they sacrifice their wealth and time for the work. Naturally, if you don't do the work, how could you sacrifice your wealth and time? Neither both. Neither you do the work, nor you sacrifice, and you only pray. Then you cannot become people of taqwa. So the so-called Muslims are not the people of taqwa. The non-Muslim naturally not people of taqwa. So no one can practice that. None is superior except in taqwa. None is superior except having wealth and fame and money. That's the reason, very simple reason as to why we are in turmoil, constantly in war, constantly having antagonistic relationship with each other. Because we are not taqwa. That's why in the khutbah, in the sermon of khutbah Jummah, in the sermon of Jummah prayer, the first thing mentioned by the khatib should be the people of taqwa. But they only saying that since they of long time, but they never practice. They never know how to become taqwa. I've told you now, you please, if you want the world to be at peace and you are at peace in this world, please obey it and do it. And read my tafseer of Quran. Professor Dr. Nasoha Bin Saabin. Professor Nasoha Bin Saabin. You can get it from Google, from Amazon.com and Google Play. And read my book of Hadith too. 7 book of Hadith and 84 books tafsir of Quran in English. 84 books to be read by the entire mankind, the entire world, so that they understand how. And after knowing how to do it, to become people of taqwa, do it, practice it. Then you will become the people of taqwa. If you don't, you only read or you don't read, and then you don't obey what I've told you in the book, in the tafsir, and then the Quran, the Hadith, then you will not become people of taqwa. And the whole world will not become having people of taqwa. So neither you, neither the whole world will attain, peace and tranquility, no in the hereafter. Neither in this world, no in the hereafter. Because we don't have taqwa. And neither do we understand the Quran, because we are not people of taqwa. Neither we can live with peace and tranquility in this world, because we are not people of taqwa. Neither we will be able to enter the paradise, because we are not people of taqwa. What will happen to us? In this world we'll have sadness, unhappiness. In the hereafter we'll go to hellfire.